ABC's Maggie Rulli joins us from Ukraine, Phil Lipoff from Poland, and White House correspondent Mary Alice Parks has the latest from here in Washington. Maggie, let's get right to you. What do we know about those Russian airstrikes that have hit that children's hospital in Mariupol?
Yeah, Kira, the reports coming in on this are just horrifying. President Zelensky saying it's an atrocity, saying that right now there are women and children that have been trapped under the rubble. We know that rescue operations are ongoing. At least 17 people, including moms-to-be, have been pulled from that wreckage. You know, President Zelensky tweeted out a video, he says, is of the aftermath of this attack. And you can see that inside that building there are brightly colored walls. There's a bed that's clearly made for an infant, all destroyed. Guys, this is clearly the worst and most egregious attack we have seen in this war so far. But for Mariupol, it's one of many attacks. That city has been under fire for days now. The deputy mayor there saying more than 1,200 people have already been killed. Today, he says there was supposed to be a ceasefire, safety evacuation route set up for people to leave the city. Only that never happened. He said shellings and bombings were constant today. No one was able to leave that city. And then this absolutely horrific bombing that just occurred. You know, guys, today we were at the train station in Lviv, and we did meet some families that were able to escape other eastern cities. And when they describe what their homes were like, how terrifying their journey was, it's hard to even imagine what it's like in Mariupol right now, guys.
So what's the situation at Chernobyl now, Maggie? We know that the power is out. What are the safety concerns?
Yeah, this is something everyone's very concerned about right now, Kiara. And the good news is that we're okay right now, but the bad news is we are running on borrowed time. ABC spoke with the head of nuclear power here in Ukraine. He says he's still not able to directly communicate with Ukrainian employees that are in charge of running Chernobyl. All we know now is that the electricity is out. They are running on generator power. He did tell us they're okay for now, but they're only allowed to run on generator power for maybe 3 to 7 days before it runs out. And if generator power runs out, if electricity is not able to be restored, there could be radiation leaks. This could be a worst case scenario, Kara, and we're really living day to day right now.
Wow. All right. Well, Phil, let's take over to you. You know, there's been a lot of talk over the past 24 hours of Poland's offer to transfer these Russian-made fighter jets, these MiGs, to a U.S. base in Germany, then to be delivered to Ukraine. The Pentagon said no to the offer. So what more can you tell us about this struggle to get Ukrainians aircraft in addition to weapons, while the U.S. just doesn't want to take the risk of expanding this war?
Kira, that's understandable that they don't want to take that risk, because Vladimir Putin has already said any kind of no-fly zone or a NATO aircraft in the area he would see as a provocation, and that would be a problem. It could bring the world into a world war. So these are MiG-29s that are Russian-made, and the Ukrainians know how to fly. Poland had wanted to get them to the air base in Germany, the U.S. air base in Germany, but as you said, the Pentagon turned down that request. And Admiral Kirby said at one point it would be easier to get the Ukrainian pilots to Poland and take those planes. So that was kind of a non-starter. But the United States and NATO obviously understands this is the front line of NATO. Poland shares 330 miles of border. So Poland asked the U.S. government for 2 Patriot air missile defense systems. They had ordered 2 that were coming later this year, but our Pentagon team has confirmed that the U.S. said yes, they moved 2 of those systems from Germany to here in Poland. They are on the ground right now as we speak. We don't know where they are, Kira, or their operational status, but they are defense systems meant to shoot down any kind of incoming threat. They are not meant to go on the offensive.
So with that said, Phil, is there growing concern there in Poland that it may get tangled up in this war?
I think there is, Kira, and we've been hearing that more and more over the last week or so. I mean, if you're sitting here in Poland, right, you know the history of this area. There is a part of Western Ukraine that at one point was part of Poland, and at one point it was part of Russia. So knowing that history in this area and knowing Vladimir Putin's intentions, everybody here believes that he's trying to build back the old USSR. And if you're standing here in Poland, what you're looking at is Russian troops making their way across Ukraine toward your border. So yes, people are getting increasingly concerned that something could happen here.
All right, Mary Alice, let's take it over to you. You know, the House is now poised to approve this funding bill that includes nearly $14 billion in emergency aid for Ukraine. It's got bipartisan support, and it's even a bigger package than what the White House originally requested. So let's talk strategy and impact here.
Yeah, Carrie, like you said, almost $3 billion more than the White House had even asked for. There's money in this for the Department of Defense. We know that the United States has surged just shy of 10,000 U.S. troops to the region, so money to support that. $4 billion for refugee support and assistance with humanitarian aid, economic aid, and just helping those NATO allies that are bearing the brunt of this humanitarian crisis, that are helping there. And interesting, too, a lot of money set aside for cyber defense, both domestically, but also to help NATO countries beef up their own cyber defense. This remains a serious concern for this White House.
And what about Vice President Kamala Harris, Mary Alice? She's en route to Poland now, where Phil is. She's planning on speaking. What's the goal there?
Yeah, clearly just to show support. It's a big deal to send the vice president to the region right now. The White House wanting to send a message that this is an all-hands-on-deck effort, that they are paying attention at every single moment, every single hour, and they are trying to really lend support in the biggest way. She also just needs to make sure that the lines of communication between NATO allies and the White House are strong. They are trying to respond together with these sanctions, but also with military support. And so she's going to be meeting one-on-one with these leaders to make sure that they are talking and that they are talking effectively.
All right, Phil, Maggie, Mary Alice, thank you all so much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.